challenging for the indigenous people. After seeing a man who explicitly declared so many times his hate for them becoming president. Just to refresh our memories, I will repeat some of the words said by Bolsonaro in his public speeches. You can be sure, if I become president, there will not be a centimeter more of indigenous land. There is no indigenous territory where there aren't minerals. Gold, tin, magnesium are in these lands, especially in the Amazon, the richest area in the world. I'm not getting into this nonsense of defending land for Indians. The Indians do not speak our language, they don't have money, they don't have culture, they are native peoples. How did they manage to get 13% of national territory? It's a shame that Brazilian cavalry who hasn't been as efficient as the Americans who exterminated the Indians. As you can imagine, Bolsonaro's election is the gravest threat to indigenous people in decades. They have suffered the most from Bolsonaro's genocidal policy. Since Bolsonaro came to power, he has implemented a number of policies to relax the environmental protection. Attacks on indigenous territories have to intensify, which has placed the indigenous populations at enormous risk. In 2019, 113 indigenous were murdered. 11 of them were leaders of their communities. Last year, his environment minister, Ricardo Salles, called on the government to push through further deregulation of environmental policy, while people and press were distracted by the pandemic. And of course, it includes a proposal to open up indigenous territories to the exploitation of minerals, water resources, and even large-scale agriculture. Indeed, the project allows the exploitation of indigenous lands for Brazilian and international capital, and moves indigenous people from a state of sovereignty to a state of guardianship, in which they no longer make decisions over how to manage their land. This project would sentence thousands of indigenous people to death. It would lead to the violation of indigenous rights and autonomy, which are secured by law in Brazilian Constitution and in international treaties. Indigenous territory is a right, not a favor. Indigenous peoples are grounded in earth. For them, territory is not a good that can be sold, traded, or exploited. Their territory is their life, their body, and their spirit. That's why fighting for territory is fighting for their lives. I remember I heard once, when I was in an indigenous community in Mato Grosso, where I lived for a while. Life and territory are one. The land gives us food, our traditional medicine, our health, our culture, our tradition, and our dignity. To lose our territory is like losing our mother. And you would fight for your mother. And we do. We are here to fight for them and for us and for our mother. Caring for indigenous lands is guaranteeing the good of the whole planet, because they are the guardians of the forest. They care for it, for the air, for the waters, for the soil. Most of the world's biodiversity finds shelter on indigenous lands. Supporting indigenous rights is fighting against deforestation, fighting for the Amazon, and fighting for our own survival on the planet. Stop indigenous genocide!
Demarcação já!
Demarcação já! Tem direito à terra é direito, não é